Hi everyone, it's Jen. Welcome to my channel. This video we're going to be making some ribbon or fabric crosses, and right now I am preparing my canvas. It's actually a piece of plywood, but you can do this on a regular canvas if you so choose. So I've stained one piece of plywood. They measure 15 by 9, and then I'm painting the other piece of plywood like an off-white color. And later on in the video you'll see I dry brush a teal color over that. You'll want to take your couple pieces of fabric or ribbon, whichever you so choose, and you're going to just make sure that it's a couple inches longer on both sides, so that gives you enough room to attach it to the back side. I am hot gluing my pieces on. You could staple yours if you would rather do that, but I'm just attaching the horizontal ribbon first. I don't think it really matters. I just chose to do it this way. So if you go this route, you're going to go about 1/3 of a way down, and you don't want to go across the middle, obviously, because this is a cross. So you want to go a little higher up. And I'm using a wire tie, a 4-inch wire tie, to bring that together. So I gather that together, snip off the extra, then I lay down the vertical piece of ribbon. I'm going to apply some hot glue on either side of that so that it is attached to my piece of plywood. And once I flip it back around, I'm going to do the exact same thing to that piece of ribbon as I did the other. I'm just going to take my wire tie and gather it together. I have found that when using ribbon, you want it to be about 1/3 of the width of your project. So my board is 9 inches wide. This ribbon is 2.5 inches, so it's a little bit probably thinner than what I would normally go with, but I love the ribbon and I wanted to use it. So it ended up looking really, really good though. But rule of thumb, about 1/3 of the width of your project. Now these paper mache stars, I painted one of those. They're about, I think, 3.5 inches wide, and I hot glued it onto the center of my cross because this kind of project requires some kind of embellishment to go in the center to hide where you've gathered your two pieces of ribbon or fabric. So whether it be a flower or some kind of little paper mache item like I'm using here, you're going to need some kind of embellishment for the center. So this is my next one, and this is the painted canvas. I did not get myself dry brushing that canvas, but I did. And then I'm going to use fabric on this one instead of ribbon. So what I do is I cut 8 inches of fabric. I think it's 8 by 18 inches actually, and I fold it over on itself so that it makes about a 3.5 to 4 inch width on this fabric. And you could sew it if you wanted to sew it, but you're not going to see the back of it, and it was much faster for me to just throw some hot glue on there. So that's what I did. So I'm basically making 2 strips of fabric to use as I did in my ribbon before. And I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did in that first example. I'm going to glue it on the back. I actually grabbed my staple gun for this because this fabric is a little thicker than that ribbon. So I staple the fabric in addition to hot gluing it down just to make sure it stays. We'll assemble this project just the same as we did in the first example. When I was trying to decide what I was going to use for the center embellishment for this project, I thought I would just grab like an artificial flower and put in the center. This is the one I had on hand. It's a little bit too big for this, I thought, But I also had another idea. I went ahead and cut some flower petals out of the from the cricket, and it actually turned out really, really cool. So as I paste these pieces together, I end up using 8 flower petals. I use 2 of 4 different sizes, and they go gradually down in size. The largest one, I believe, is 3.5 inches. I found a matching distress ink. It's Wild Honey, and I'm just using my little sponge tool to go around the outsides of the flowers. If I wanted it a little bit lighter, I used not so much pressure. If I wanted it a darker yellow color, I was a little more heavy-handed and applied more ink. Then I grabbed a pencil and a skewer, and I went around and kind of curved up the ends of those petals to give it a little bit of dimension. And then all I do is simply take some hot glue and start with the largest petal and glue all of those petals together, kind of alternating them and turning them in a way that they're not all lined up the same. Once my petals are all glued together, I went to my stash of little embellishing gems and things like that and grabbed a large gem to just glue in the center of that just to finish this embellishment off. And then I end up hot gluing the flower to the project itself. Thanks for watching. I hope this project inspires you to try your own project. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.